Hello everyone and welcome to DM Talk. I'm DM for Playerole. Our motto is real people, real gamers. And what is that motto? That motto, that what we love is you're going to see mistakes by the DM, you're going to see mistakes by the players, and I love to film that. Not only is it part of who we are, you're going to see the reality of role-playing. Role-playing is, as much as we love voice acting and actors all around the table, that is much love, but role-playing is just a bunch of friends and family getting together around the table and having a good time. You could act out you can improv, act out whatever you want, your character class, and that is great, but ultimately we are just a bunch of people having a good time playing role-playing games. Now tonight, or today, because normally this is a special DM talk. I normally film late in the evening. Blah, I can't talk today. But in the evening, I'm normally here talking about different subject matter or whatnot. But today, we're going to talk about what's going on with Dungeons & Dragons. Dungeons & Dragons, they have Player's Manual, DM Talk, the Monster Manual out right now, which you all can get. And I know there's a lot of love and hate on both sides of the spectrum, but, it all depends on what you like in a game. Do you like OSRs? Do you like a more made-up game, a more structured game? Do you like a lot of combat? Do you like game mechanics? Those are your things you have to look at when you're established or when you're looking up these games. Because honestly, to me, role-playing is role-playing, and you could have all the information you want for your game, and all that means nothing if you don't role-play. Now, what do I mean by that? Simply by you have a cast, you have a group of people around your table, and each group has a piece of paper where they pick their classes, they pick their races, or depending on what game you pick, origins and all that stuff, and ancestries, whatever role-playing that you get into or you like, whether it's D&D, whether it's Shadowrun. Remember Shadowrun? It's an old school game. Warhammer. Whatever it is you enjoy playing, role-playing, it's under that umbrella of role-playing. Now, you are basically having a good time around the table, and those people, your friends and family, generate those characters and they become someone else for a limited time, whether it's 2 hours or 4 hours. It all depends on you as a DM and your group. How long do you play with? How long do you play the game around the table? Now, understand that in a role-playing game, things happen, whether it's bad or good. And let's go over what I put up in the description. Granted, we're talking about any subject matter. You want to talk about whatever subject matter it is, we'll talk about it. But I want to bring these up because I'm pondering about it and I want to talk about it. So D&D came up with a 2024 version, which is not very much light, but is it? Because I've been reading a lot of forums and there's been up in arms. People like it, people don't like it. But here's the thing, and I just described to you what is a role-playing game, right? Now, of course, these creators of these games, they're going to throw in a little bit of this, a little bit of that, whether you like the different class changes, you like different spell changes. Those are the things that it's up to you as a consumer and as a player and as a DM. What you like in a game, What do you like on in your table? And it doesn't matter what company it's from. It all depends on what you like. And I really say that because I have a bunch of friends, you know, a lot of them are upset about the Ranger, upset about the Paladin, the changes on the Paladin. Yes, of course we're going to get upset. Yes, you want things to be brushed a little more. They want things to be clear. So if you play a Paladin, you know, Divine Smite is something that you want. You know, well, maybe a 2024 version isn't for you. Maybe there's an OSR that you can play. Maybe there's other role-playing games. And look, I'm not going to pitch Dungeons & Dragons. I'm not going to pitch OSRs. But I will tell you that role-playing is role-playing. And what do I mean by that? Like I said before, you're a group of people sitting around the table, imagining for 4 hours, you're in a different realm, you're in a different space. That is the essence of role-playing. You could throw in all these game mechanics. You could throw in, well, the Paladin doesn't have Divine Smite, or the Divine Smite isn't as good as it was. The Ranger, portions of the Ranger was destroyed in 2024 version. There's no Artificer. Well, guess what? You as a DM have the right to change things, to homebrew your game. I homebrew my games, and I love doing it because those changes that are happening, they're out right now. You can't change that. You can't. It's in the book. It's written. They're there. But once it's at your table, as a DM, as a game master, as a storyteller, whatever category, whatever position you feel you want to do, that is up to you and your table. The group of people that are playing are great. The guys that I play with and gals, they are great. They're wonderful people. And you know what? When we make changes, we talk about it. But homebrew, to me, is best because that way you have your own lore, you have your own world, you have your own sequences, you have your own... You can even bring in the Artificer. There's nothing wrong to bring that in. But Dungeons & Dragons, with a source book, will bring back the Artificer. Whether it's liked or not, it all depends on you. As a consumer, as a player, as a DM. Those are the things that you can look at. Because ultimately, it's your table that matters. It's not the people that make the game. And I think that all these streamers out there, they're upset about certain things, they're happy about certain things, and it goes back and forth. You know, everybody has their own opinion, but my opinion, my humble opinion, is simple. You like a game or you don't like a game. And if you don't like it, don't play it. That's it. Simple as pie. And if your group is playing the 2024 version of Dungeons & Dragons, per se, then play it. Change it. Change the dynamic. It's up to you as a DM to do it. And the group to say, you know what? We like the Artificer. We want to bring him back. The source book is not out. So what? You're homebrewing a game. You're making things better. Well, maybe the Ranger doesn't have the Draken Warden. Let's bring him back. Nothing wrong with that. Very simple. Oh, but the rules doesn't apply to that. With a little thought, with a little process, it can't be done. It can't be done. It's up to you to go above and beyond, to go... You're stretching your imagination. Isn't that what role-playing is? You're imagining to be an elf. You're imagining to be a gnome, a dwarf, a Goliath, whatever it is you're doing in that game. Whether you draw your sword, whether you fight in a battle, that is role-playing. The book can say what it says. Oh, 2024 version doesn't have a Draken Warden for a Ranger for Dungeons & Dragons. Really? Who says so? The book says, really? You can go ahead and change that right now. The Draken Warden is back. It is your world. It is your realm. That's why homebrewing, to me, is the best. There is so many things that can happen. Oh, but there's going to be players out there and they're going to be, well, that's not really under the guise of Dungeons and Dragons. That's not Dungeons and Dragons. Yes, it is. Dungeons and Dragons, got to remember, are two guys that created this beautiful game in a garage in Wisconsin. And they went on. And look what it is now. It's massive. But people are upset about the changes that this company has made. Yes. And I agree with that. All of them. I'm upset too. But you know what? It's your table, folks. It's your table. Upset or not, create, role play, do things above and beyond in the game. It's your imagination. Go with it. Who says you can't have a Goliath do something quirky or stupid? Who says you can't have a Dragonborn do something that doesn't belong with their race? That is your world and your realm. You can do what you want. No one's stopping you. That's why homebrew will always exceed the different versions and source books that they have for Dungeons and Dragons. And in any role-playing game. Take Cyberpunk, for example. Cyberpunk Red and the old Cyberpunk book. Between those two books, you can create a very vast world. It doesn't have to be a corporation that takes over. It doesn't have to be a post-apocalyptic world where you have explosions, where you have cybernetics. It can be whatever you want. It can be contemporary times. It can be in the 1800s. It can be whatever you want. Can you imagine the 1800s with cybernetics? You see an individual with a top hat and a cane, and all of a sudden he has a cybernetic arm. And he has a pistol at his side. That is cool. You can do a Wild West version. Role-playing is anything, and I think the community, I think people forget that. They look at the mechanics and they look at every little aspect of the character class, the race, and they get upset about different spells, and this is not in there, and blah, blah, blah. Really? It's not in there because you've overlooked one thing, folks. You have not created it. You have stopped. They are stopping you from creating. Create it. Well, that spell can't do this. Then create it. It is up to you as a DM. It's up to you as a player. It's up to you to create it. If you're doing a homebrew version, then create it. Nothing wrong with that. A dragon can be what a dragon is. A dragon doesn't have to be, well, white dragons can't be good. White dragons are stupid. They're beast-like. Red dragons are intelligent. They can flip-flop. It doesn't matter. You are the DM. You are the storyteller. You're the game master. People are so worried about the certain flow and certain dynamics of the game. There can be 1,000 different type of dynamics in the Dungeons and Dragons game, in a Shadowrun game, in a Cyberpunk game. And you know what? Those dynamics can change because of you. You're the DM, you're the one telling the story. You're the storyteller, you're the game master. You're the referee. You can be anything you want. And I think that role-playing as a whole, yes, it's mainstream. Yes, it's great, it's mainstream. But people have forgotten. The essence of role-playing is role-playing. Sitting down. I'm not saying get dressed up. up. If you want to get dressed up, then fine. If that's your thing, then do it. If you want to put makeup on and have something that's a sword, then do it. Read Daniel Photography. Thank you for the comment. To me, books are guidelines. They're there to help you make the game fair, enjoyable, and to help guide you through your story. It's meant for imagination and creativity. Awesome comment. I agree with that. The books are guidelines, and I think that the community, they forgot about that. I think the community itself, as a whole, they forget about what role-playing is. And those guidelines, you're right. Thank you for your comment, Daniel. Those guidelines are there to help you. But I think that when you have these stories, and it can be any DM, it can be any storyteller or game master, that's what makes a role-playing game. That young man or young woman getting into their character, role-playing their classes. If one plays an elf and the other one plays a human fighter, the elf is playing an artificer or a druid. It doesn't matter. The creativity is all you. And people are upset about the 2024 version, what it entails in Dungeons & Dragons. If you don't like it, don't play it. Go to a different version. Go to the 2014 version then. If you don't like that, play first or second edition. That's what you should do. Or even better, if you like the 2024 version of Dungeons & Dragons, then play it. Then change what you don't like, and what you do like, keep. But as a table, at the table, the people around those tables, they make role-playing games. I've been role-playing. Amen. I love D&D because I create my character. I decided what my character does. I can't become the elf that I make. Again, imagination. Absolutely. Absolutely. Amen to that. Imagination is the key. Thank you again for your comment. Imagination is the key. And that's it. You are the role-playing game. There's a bunch of words that make up the mechanics. Yes, you need the mechanics for combat. Yes, you need the mechanics for example, in 2014, you have to make a charisma saving throw. Under the charisma bracket, there is deception, there is intimidation, performance, and persuasion. It has all those game mechanics, those aspects that make up your character that you need to do. But if you want to change it, you can. No one's telling you have to follow it. As long as everyone around the table enjoys what they're playing and everyone is having a good time. I think that version, that aspect, that I'm going to highlight it. That highlight of role-playing, people forgot. They forgot about it. I've been in a dozen forums on people are upset about this, on a player getting up because he didn't like a certain way the game was playing. I think people forgot that the game is just a game. You are an elf. You are Goliath. You are a human. You're a drow. You're an artificer human. You're whatever it is. Or in Cyberpunk. You know, whatever game, class you want to play in Cyberpunk. Whatever you want to play in any role-playing game. If you're playing Vampire the Masquerade. If you're playing a gangrel vampire. And those of you who played Vampire the Masquerade know what a gangrel vampire is. Then the clan, different clans, and different things of what happens in that world. It's up to you to enhance that. Whether you are the storyteller, the player, you're the world. And that's what role-playing is. You're what you want to be, and that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it. Well, 100%. That's role-playing. You can sit all you want and complain all you want in a table, and if you're not happy, then stop the game, talk to the player and say, what's up? And then if they're still not happy, then that player can go to another table. The DM can say, well, you know, this is the way I do things. And that's why, going back, and you can watch my previous shows, I talked about session zeros. Session zero is very important in any game. I like doing it. I like having a session zero because you could convey who you are as a DM, and if you have new players, they can convey what they like in the game. And that's the connection that you need as a table. Without that connection, there is no role playing because you'll have fights over rules, you have fights over certain whatever. If there's a player that doesn't agree with the way you are as a DM, that player is never going to be happy. But anyways, that's not what I'm going to talk about. But this is open forum. We can talk about anything. Being happy in a role-playing game is one thing, is getting into your character and immersing yourself in this world. And I have to mention his name. Anthony Yanis is a wonderful DM, and him and his son are making a wonderful role-playing game. And it's a difficult task. And I wish him all the best. They are great people, and they're my great friends. And I want to mention them because Anthony's stories are beautiful. And Alex, his son Alex is a great person. I've been under his game for Existential Essentials, and that game is awesome. Check it out. I urge you guys to check it out. It's a great game. I've been at his table, and let me tell you, that is a lot of fun. Well, what was I talking about? I was talking about these individuals, Anthony and Alex. They are two very different DMs, game masters, storytellers. They're behind the screen. They tell you what it is. They tell you how it should go in a game. And you know what? What's awesome about it? It's the experience that you have. Every storyteller, every DM, every game master has a unique flavor. And Anthony has this way about when he does things, is he sits here and says, what are you doing? And if you do something crazy, he laughs about it and he snickers. And I look at him and as a player, I'm looking at him like, what is he gonna do? And when he does something crazy off the wall, what do I mean by that? We were running Star Wars and I did something incredible. And I was playing, a Force user, somewhat. And my skill, I rolled my skill and I rolled badly. And the consequences were severe. Anthony's an old school gamer. And when he conveys consequences, is harsh. And it's scary. And I have to mention that because he is a really good creator. And Alex, his son Alex, is another good creator. He is just amazing. When he creates, we listen. And what do I mean by that? At the table, it was Timmy, Eli, and myself, and Anthony. We played his game. And there was a sequence that we were trying to understand this new role-playing game. And this sequence was pretty harsh. And I was rolling pretty good, and then my rolls went bad. And let me tell you, just the dynamic and the way he told the story, the flow of that story, and his descriptions were spot on. I urge you, Heroes of the Old is coming out in September it's coming out in September in, I think, I got a brain fart. It's coming out in September, I believe. And you guys should really support Anthony and Alex for this game, because it's a big task to create a role-playing game. Anyways, I just wanted to throw that out there. So if you guys hear me, Anthony and Alex, I love you guys. You guys are awesome. I'm a big supporter and fan. Anyways, let's continue on. That's what I mean about role-playing. You got two individuals who are creating something different. Yeah, it's fantasy. It's all in the same bracket, the same guys. But you know what's different? The creativity, the world. In essence, everything in that game. Heroes of the Old, for example, these guys they're embarking on a mission, and their mission is to create. And that is role-playing, is creating. If you give me a backstory, and I'm the DM, and you give me this wonderful backstory, and the backstory is, my family, I don't remember what happened to them, I know something dreadful happened to them. And you're a human in this village, and this village got burned down, something happened in this village, but you don't remember, but there's a tragedy, and the player needs some help with the story. Give me a little bit about your background, and together we can open up a beautiful story. That's what I mean about creativity. And I think the community has lost sight of that. I can see it in the forums, I can see it in the streamers. People are upset about certain ways, and of course Dungeons & Dragons, they have done things that people are upset about, and they should be. And I agree with that. But in the end, it's up to you to change the dynamic of the game. It doesn't have to be. You can change what you want for the better. That's what I mean. To capture the essence of role-playing. And the community has lost that. The essence of role-playing isn't the game mechanics, isn't the world. The essence of role-playing is you. You remember when you were a kid, 5, 6 years old, whatever age, you're a little kid, little boy or little girl, and you're playing cops and robbers, or you're playing this imaginary world. That is role-playing. Folks, when you sit there and create, you're opening your mind for 2 hours or more in an expansive world. That is role-playing. You don't have to be a writer, you don't have to be a blogger, you don't have to be a podcaster or a streamer. You can be anything you want to be in that game. And that's like Mr. Daniel said, you're what you want to be, and that's the beauty of it. That is a good statement, because that portion of it should be written in bold right across all role-playing games. Is you're what you want to be, and that's the beauty of it. That's it. Well, you can say, well, you need mechanics in the game. You need all these things. These cogs, they all come together to make a role-playing game. Yes, you do need those things. I'm not going to disagree with you there. But I will disagree 100% on role-playing is the people at that table. Role-playing is the DM, the storyteller, the game master, the referee, conveying that story. And the people around the table, they make that story 100%. You can be an awesome writer, and the players will do things that are incredible, It will go to heights above and below to make sure that you are ruined. As a DM, referee, storyteller, you're going to sit there and all the players are going to run around, run your game amok. And you know what? Let them. They're having fun. And if you have a story that goes in the beginning, the town was burned down, the village was pillaged, many thousands died, per se. Excuse me, it's a village, not thousands, maybe a couple hundred died. And the players go in and they don't want to do anything to save those people in that village. Then let them do that. Sandboxing in a role-playing game is exceedingly difficult because you have to come up with things on a fly. But is it difficult? Isn't that what role-playing is 100% of the time? When you write a section in your story that the players needed to go to the tavern to talk to the human bartender who needs help because his family was captured by the Drows in the Underdark. They had to do some screwed up ritual, something like that. So the players go into a tavern and all of a sudden they want to go a different way. They just want to drink ale, maybe buy some items in the magic shop. Sorry. That's what they want to do. Then let them. Let the story progress. And I understand DM's guide, all these guides, all these source books tell you, well, there's got to be certain flow and blah, blah, blah. But you know what? Sometimes that moment that they role play with each other, the dynamic is set. If they want to role play a whole game in a tavern and they want to be there, you want the story to progress, yes. That's all part of the rules, right? It's all, every source book, it tells you, well, there's got to be game flow. There's got to be movement from one section to another. Yes, there has to be. But sometimes that moment, that role-playing moment, you sit back as a DM, you sit back as a storyteller, game master, and you look and you watch a role play. And if it goes longer, then it goes longer. Then if your one shot becomes a 2-shot or a 4-episode series, then it does. I think that dynamic, the community lost. They want to go into every little aspect of these source books. They want to go into these books. They want to feed that information to their players. And sometimes the players are not going to have it. They're going to say no. I've had players, my guys, they've thought out of the box all the time. They think out of the box all the time. So as a DM, I have to be on my toes. And if I'm not, oops. So what am I going to do? I'll allow it. Oh, you're not a good storyteller, not a good DM. What are you doing? You know what you need to do? You need to just go with the flow. And sandboxing is an example of that. And for those of you who don't know what that is basically having the players are the story, folks. Let's not forget that. But sandboxing is not going off of things and getting your energy from that player. All right? In a story, going with that. If they're going to stay in a tavern, then create. Reed Daniel says, the DM should be able to tell when to move the story along or let them enjoy the moment. That's my problem. I always try and move the story along and forget to enjoy being in the town of the tavern or the tavern. You're absolutely right. And I think that goes with every DM. They just have that. They have to move the story along. And sometimes you have to pull back just that moment. Or maybe the ending, they leave the tavern and there's the evil cavalier. There's the evil governor of the town. He has henchmen ready to attack. You have this huge combat sequence ready. But no, they stayed in the tavern. Last game, the last episode, the guy, I have had this huge encounter. And the guys decided to roleplay. For 4 hours and 22 minutes, they roleplayed every sequence. They went to speak to the king and queen. They went to NPC died. So they went into that. So they roleplay. They all roleplay. And for that moment, guys, I tell you, I'm getting chills just talking about this. That moment, you sit back, you look at your players and enjoy that moment as much as you want this cool sequence that every DM, every person has in your head. Oh, there's going to be mist, and there's going to be a dragon that peeks out of the mist, and there's going to be this massive combat sequence. But if they're role-playing, if they're having a time of their lives, stuck in that moment, and give it to them. And sit back and enjoy the ride. And if the game goes longer, if that one shot doesn't end, but they enjoy it, every moment, every sequence, then guess what? You've done your job. But every source book is dead against it. The DM's guide will tell you, there's got to be a flow. There's got to be time management. And time management, folks, my time management sucks. It does. It goes all over the place sometimes. Sometimes I got it, sometimes I don't. But to try to wrangle that in is something that you learn as you go. And that's the important part of role-playing, is that moment where everyone sits and they role-play their characters, and you as a DM can enjoy that moment. And I want to talk about these big streamers out there. They've gotten that good for a reason, because their players, they know their DM. They know their DM. And that table is for them. That table could not work with a table that loves combat, that loves to fight a lot. My guys like to fight. But last episode, they surprised the hell out of me. They stood there and they started role-playing. I figured, okay, the role-playing is going to go a little bit and they're going to continue to the next sequence, because I have this long combat. And everybody knows D&D combat is long and it can be a little boring sometimes. But the guys, they role-played with that moment. And folks, as a player and DM, we create the flow, we're enjoying the moment, just enjoy it. Y'all are amazing. I sadly have to go to work, and have a great day, y'all. Hey, thank you very much for your comment. Stay with us. Thank you very much. You are 100% right. Have a good day at work. Everyone has those moments. And folks, in end, I love you guys. We're gonna have a break. June 21st, we'll be continuing campaign 2, episode 24. And we're gonna continue from where we left off. The show, the recap, I'll have a big recap on that show and talk about it. I was gonna film it today after this episode of DM Talk, but I can't, because I want to do it before the episode airs on the 21st. That way you guys can be caught up on what's going on. Because there's a lot that happened last episode, and oh my gosh, there was a lot. Like I said, 4 hours and 20 something minutes of role playing. These guys, they really did it for me. But either way, have a great day, a wonderful weekend. Join us back on the 21st of June. Subscribe, like, don't forget to hit the notification button. I love you all. Thank you for supporting Playerole. I'll see you guys. See ya.